Alright, so let's talk about area. Trapezoids, rhombuses, and kites. So we'll start with the trapezoid. Let's draw a trapezoid here. And a trapezoid has two bases, and they're parallel. So you always want to look at those two parallel lines. So let's say this is 8 and 12. And again, our height always has to be at a 90-degree angle. So let's say our height there is 5. So the area equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times your height. And I can show you how this works if you really wanted to know, but the formula works. So our bases there are 8 and 12, so I can do 8 plus 12 divided by 2 times my height of 5. 8 plus 12 is 20, divided by 2 is 10, so I end up with 10 times 5. So my area equals 50, and let's say this is inches, so 50 inches squared. Alright, so now I'm going to do a rhombus, and I know this is a rhombus because my diagonals bisect each other, and then the two sides are congruent. Alright, so what you have to think on a rhombus is, if I was to take this and change my figure, make 90 degrees there and there. Basically what I did there is I took that piece, rotated it around there, took this piece, put it over there, rotated it around, moved it up, and I created this rectangle. So my measurements there are 3 for my height, and then my base there would be 5 and 5, so 10. So my area would equal 3 times 10. So my area equals 30 centimeters squared. And you have to rotate it where you're rotating the two different triangles. If I tried to do the two top triangles on this one, it wouldn't match up because that top triangle isn't the same size as the bottom triangles. So you got to pay attention to which triangles you're rotating. But if you rotate the right triangles, then you're just creating a rectangle, and it's just base times height, or length times width, or however you learned it. Alright, so now we've got another trapezoid. So our formula is still the same. Area equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times our height. And here we're given certain things. This is a 90-degree angle, so I know my height is 10. I know my area is 125, and I know one of my bases is 5. So 5 plus b divided by 2 times 10 equals 125. So I'm going to divide by 10 first. I get 12 and a half equals 5 plus my base divided by 2. Multiply by 2, I get 25 equals 5 plus my base. Subtract 5. I get my other base equals 20. So that's just working backwards with that formula. If you're given the area, to find a missing piece. Alright, so we got another trapezoid here, and this one's going to be a little bit harder because we know the bases on this. I got a 5, and I know this is 5 down here, so that would make a total of 8. So if I put this in my formula, I got area equals my base, which is 5 plus 8 divided by 2 times my height. Well, I don't know my height yet because here's my 90 degree and I don't have any value out here. So I got to find that. Well, I know that's a right triangle. I know my 3 and 6. So let's put those numbers into the Pythagorean theorem. So I got 3, not 3. 3 squared plus b squared equals 6 squared. So that would be 9 plus b squared equals 36. Subtract I get b squared equals 27. Square root that. And square root of 27 going to be 3 square roots of 3. So that's going to be my height. So now I can work this out. 5 plus 8 is 13 divided by 2 times 3 square root of 3. So 13 divided by 2 is going to be 6.5 times 3 square root of 3. So I work that out. And we'll just estimate this. So my area is going to be about 33 and 8/10. I didn't put units on here, so let's just say it's centimeters squared. Let's add centimeters to all these. Alright, now let's do a kite. And I know it's a kite because my top two are congruent and my bottom two sides are congruent. And the diagonals meet at a 90-degree angle. So this again is kind of like the rhombus. I can take this piece right here, flip it over there, take this piece, flip it over there, because it's rotate, that's what I really should say. And I know one side is 3 and 5.5, so that would be 8.5. Now, the key here is paying attention to this. This is 45 degrees. That means this is 45 degrees. That means that that is also 45 degrees and that is also 45 degrees. And since one side is 3, that means my other side has to be 3. So my rectangle there would be 8.5 times 3. So 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1. 24 plus 1 is 25, so that would be 25.5. And let's call this inches. So 25.5 inches squared. So that's how you find the area of trapezoids, rhombuses, and kites.